Okay, I took it back apart. I had messed up and let this turn in. You got to have it turned all the way out up against the stop in there when you start shimming everything. So I didn't have that done. So I had to take it back apart and see what I'd done wrong. This unscrews if you screw it this way, and it'll screw in that way. And you want it all the way out, and that way when you put this in, all your pressure's up against this, and then it moves your table. Okay, that being said, we had to make a washer. This goes out here. The handle was actually too close to the unit, and this ball was hitting it, so I had to shim the handle out a little bit. I'm going to put it back together for now, but I've got I'm going to make some pieces to make it look a little better. It ain't going to, the functionability of it is right now is as good as it gets. It works fine. I was the one that messed up, but it works now. I referred back to a video that I had watched and found out why it had wasn't working properly, and that was the reason. I should have known that, because everything's cool now. We ended up having to put, let's see, let me measure these again. I think it was somewhere around 75 thousandths worth of shim here. And like I said, we had to make that little key there, and where it go up under the shim. We didn't want to key this or pin it, the shaft to this the shaft extension to the shaft that's coming out of the mill. So to not have to do that, I ground the end of this, or turned it on the lathe until I could tighten it as tight as I could get it, and these would line up. I think that's where I messed up when I was trying to get this loose and tightening this up and loosening it up and everything. I messed up and turned this in, and I think that's where I messed up, and when I was reason it wasn't working right. So that being said, I got the shims back in there and the keys, and I got these keys lined up. That keeps me from having to pin this, because when this gear goes on, this gear got a keyway, and it's all the way through, and it's good enough that it'll catch half of this key and this key here too, so it won't slip. And that's what I've done to modify that. Let me go get a little grease. I want to put a little grease on this gear here. This grease is it's white grease, and it's Renolite ST80, and like I said, it's either a French or German. I don't really. And like I said, you can see when I put this handle on here. Let's see, we need to turn it this way to keep that. It's hitting right there. It ain't, you can't get nothing in between it. So that's the reason I made this shim right here, and I cut a little notch in it for the key. believe that'll do it right there. Let's see, where's my nuts? It goes on there. There it lays right there. The other one, the X didn't have an extension. It just fit right up to the mill. But it had it had already had a power feed on it when it come from a factory on the X. So it I believe that's still, I don't guess it is. I thought it might be a little tight, but I checked it 3 times a while ago, so I'm thinking that's okay. I don't feel no grinding. Okay, it seems to be working fine now. All I got to do is put the stops on it. And the way this mill is designed, and they didn't give you nothing except this right here. And I'm pretty sure it works. I'm going to check it out anyway. Yep, it works. And that thing right there has got to come off. I know that's the first thing that's going to hit my leg. And I don't know if it ain't low enough to hit my knee, but I'm going to take it off of there anyway. I've got to get a... Well, I found one. It's a 14 millimeter. I'll put this up somewhere where I can remember a spot. Only thing is, I'll forget that spot. And it's raining again. Don't seem like we're gonna get no relief from this rain. Tom's still trying to get his shop built up there in Virginia, and he's having the same problems with the rain. Installation of this piece here. So, that being said, this part right here, I think we're going to call her done. Okay, we got the T-track and stops mounted for the Y power feed. I didn't film it. It was I was all up in there under there, and the camera would have just been in the way, and it took me 3 times as long. It took me long enough anyway. I don't bend and get around as good as I used to. So this piece of T-track was bought for making a table when I was doing woodworking for the drill press. And it had 2 T-slot milled in the 3/4 inch piece of plywood for this T-track here. And this is a piece I had left over, and I decided to use it. I had to modify these a little bit, and the T-nuts that came with these stops here, I had to modify them. I had to cut this down by the locator that goes in this slot right here. I had to cut it down by 60 thousandths far as depth, and then I had to take 30 thousandths off of each side where it would fit in the slot. The 60 thousandths was where it wouldn't where it would clamp up when it clamped up against the little T-nut. Now that T-nut I had to take, well, let me take it off and show you. Okay, I got this off, and what I had to do, this used to be just 3/16 flat and square. So I had to cut it to where it would fit this T-slot here. That T-slot's got this shape right here in there. So I had to cut it and mill it to the shape of that. And you can see the where it fits in the track here. I had to take 60 thousandths off of the thickness of it, but I just took it off of this part here because that way it would tighten up. And then I took 30 thousandths off of each side where it would fit in this slot here. And where I mounted this piece here, I used my woodworking clamps. I figured out where I wanted it, where all this, it's got oil lines up under here, up under this part here. And I figured out where I wanted it, where this, when it slides back and forth here, would miss the oil lines. And I marked a hole on that end down, the far end down yonder, and drilled and tapped it, and put the bolt in it, drilled this and countersunk it, and put the flathead screw in it, and little finder up here, and got it on 0, and put the woodworking clamp across, all the way across here, and clamped it here and to the other side there. And then I drilled 3 more holes and mounted this. And then I figured out where I wanted this. This is just a piece of angle that had came with a DRO kit mounting the scales, and I didn't use. So I used it to mount the cutoff, the stop, that where you can set it where your feed will stop. And drilled and tapped a couple of holes in this piece here to mount the piece of angle, and then I mounted the switch to this piece of angle, and mounted a little cord holder here to where that cord wouldn't have a likely tendency to pull out. And it works real good now. Let me put this back on here. These pieces here is just plastic, and I don't really like them because it looks like these up here that's on the ones that I mounted here for the X feed is bent a little bit where they've stopped. I don't know if they were like that. I looked at the these other ones down here, and they look bent too. Maybe it's just the way they made. So if I have trouble with them, I'll make me some out of aluminum. But well, we gotta go turn some power on first. I gotta figure out a place to mount a power strip. I seen Joe down in Texas on Advanced Innovations, or I think that's the name of his channel. Joe, I ain't gonna butcher up his last name because I probably couldn't pronounce it no way. But he had one mounted behind his machine, and these power cords, that's what I was gonna do, but these power cords won't, on the front here, won't reach all the way around there. And I may come down here and mount one right up under the bottom of the knee here. I've just got to look and see if that will be a good place to mount one. but we'll turn some power on here, and it'll come out till it hits that switch, and then it'll stop. That's as far as the vise right there will mill anyway. And I can move that switch and move it by hand. But then we can go the other way. It works fine. It stops, and it saves a lot of arm movement. And my arm ain't moving too good right now. Back in December, the orthopedic surgeon told me I had a torn rotator cuff in my right arm, and I'm right-handed, and I cannot get my arm above shoulder level. So basically right now I'm left-handed to anything over my head. But like I told him, until this COVID-19, they find a vaccine or something for it, I'm not going to no hospital. That's where all the sick people are. And I ain't making no joke about it, but that's the truth. That's where they are, and I'm not taking any chances, because I've got respiratory problems, and get COVID-19 with respiratory problems, you're a goner. So I'll just put up with the shoulder until we get this pandemic sort of situated, maybe by the end of the year anyway. But that's done, and now we're going to start working on another little project. We'll have you a video on it too, and it worked out pretty good. About 8-hour job took me about 4 days. I'm getting slow in my old age. I am real satisfied with it. It may tear up tomorrow, but this is the first one I've done from start to finish. The other one was already on there. It just didn't work when I got it, and I had to re-shim it. But everything else, and it didn't have a extension for the shaft. This extension for the shaft was took me the longest, because I took 1,000th of the time off of it till I got those keys to line up. And that saved me from having to drill. I didn't want to have to drill a hole in my shaft for the mill. And it seems to be working out just fine. Either hadn't had any trouble out of it. I've run it back and forth several times. So that being said, I appreciate y'all stopping by, and subscribe, click the like, and click the little subscribe button, and go up there and click the bell to get your notifications when there's a new video posted. Y'all have a great week, and God bless, and stay safe, and y'all come back to see me.